Hey, it's an HRC Nerds here, and this is day 4 of our video series, Rebuilding an OFNA Hyper 7. What you're looking at here is my bag of parts. These are all the parts that I'm replacing on my OFNA Hyper 7. The net behind this rebuild is to get the buggy in a state of newness, and then from there begin testing out different setups and specifically focusing on performance upgrades. Okay, so here's where I'm left. This is all that remains, and I'm going to rebuild the center diff and I've already built, but I'm just going to put on a new throttle and brake setup. And at least from our perspective, there's always something that you could be doing to your vehicles, whether it's a problem or not. I mean, it's just pure maintenance. So with this Mugen right here, had to do some work on the pillow ball suspension last night because it was making a noise I'd never heard before when I was running it. Andrew recently ran his 8.2.0 pretty hard, and I need to work on some of you can hear the differentials. Seems like the front differential has lost its mesh somehow. The beast right here, it's a continual work in progress to get him where I want him to be, even though he's getting stronger. And so the Hyper 7 here, it's been through a lot. It's been run as hard, if not harder, than any of our vehicles because we've had it the longest. And while we've maintained it, we've never necessarily overhauled it. So that's what we're doing. And with all the parts that we're replacing, as we've been doing, we're cleaning them up, giving them an inspection, and keeping them, because it's a beautiful thing to have backup parts like this. Everything on it seems really good with respect to the center diff mount. The linkage is in decent shape. Actuators, they need a real good cleaning to they're binding a little bit. Rods, like right here, is a little bent. Nothing major, but this isn't a very, very important piece of a nitro vehicle, so it has to be spot on. The brake disc right here, I can clean those up. They'll clean up real good. Really, when you're cleaning up a brake disc like this, you just want to get that glaze that's on it, get that off. I usually get like a scouring pad or something, and more importantly, make sure that in here, there's no it hasn't worn too much, because this right here is what actually allows you to stop. And in they go with all the other groovy parts. And I was thinking about this, just like my beloved Lucy 810, I'm only a few parts shy here of actually creating a second Hyper 7, and that's a whole other video series, but I'm thinking about doing that. The first two differentials that the front and the back that I went through were pretty much empty. I don't know why this would be an exception. The spur gear on it, actually, I'm very pleasantly surprised at how the spur gear is held up, especially when this is the stock, the very first clutch bell that I had on it. It lost its mesh once, and you can see, man, it did some pretty serious damage to it, especially when you compare it to a new one, like right here. That's regardless, I will be putting on a new steel spur gear, just because, I don't know, if I change a clutch bell, I like to also change the spur gear and vice versa, because I do think that they get that perfect happy union when they have their first mesh. So we'll keep the new spur gear with the new clutch bell, and then this spur gear, which again is in good shape, with the clutch bell that I actually just took off, which is in good shape, very good shape. And then this one here that's jacked up, that will just be a conversation piece. So back to the differential, if you look here, again, it's hard to do with one hand. I don't like that. You see, when you start getting this action right here, it could be a lot of things. It could be the housing, it could be the bearing, it could be the outdrive itself. So in this instance, of course, I am going to replace the bearings, and I'm going to put on new outdrives. Yeah, it's pretty dry. So if any of you guys have a Hyper 7 or any vehicle that's using grease instead of oil, and you're not noticing a lot of forward bite and low grip conditions, you might want to check it out. And we're going to take care of that here. I'm probably going to start with 7K, because it's going to be driving in a variety of different terrains. Regarding that play on the outdrive, my only assumption is, unlike the front and rear disc, the center one uses a shim against the outdrive, and perhaps it's just worn down a little bit. Who knows? I've seen that before, but here's a new one, of course, that I'm going to replace with it. And as noted, I'm also changing out the outdrive, so this is the new one here versus the old one. These are a little bit different, a little bit lighter, and also they're from the Hyper 7 Pro series, so hopefully they will work out fine. Nice new center diff, new linkage, top plate, new center drive shafts to go with it. Yeah, one of our subscribers also noted carbon fiber products, of which I'm a huge fan. And I found a guy on eBay that's selling them, and so I essentially made an offer. I just said, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll buy all the carbon fiber parts you have, for the Hyper 7, and here's my offer though. So I asked for like kind of a bulk discount. We'll see if he accepts it or not. What I really like about it is stronger, lighter than aluminum, obviously. So you can see on here, I'm just starting to kind of put this car on a bit more of a diet, but I'm running them on the shock towers, Ackerman, and then there's a few other parts where I'm going to start like a top plate and a few other things. You can see even the body has carbon fiber. Of course, on my Mugen here, you can see running quite a bit of it. And although I've never broken a carbon fiber part, I still have backups of it. So for my 810 here, I've even got additional carbon fiber shocks compared to I've even got additional aluminum ones. And yeah, carbon, it's crazy expensive, but check out the difference just in, you know, the size. So you get that strength. Now check this out. Here's an aluminum one. 0.5 ounces. Here's the big old thick carbon fiber one. 0.35 ounces. Now if I were just going to put that one shock tower on, would it make a difference? No, probably not. It's a clustered effect, right? So it's a matter of doing everything you can to drop the weight. So that's why I want to you know, analyze and make sure that there are plenty of carbon fiber parts, or there's other ways around it too, you know. So going back to like my Losi, things like titanium kingpins, and I'm going to get turnbuckles, and for that vehicle I'm going to try to drop about 8 more ounces on it. It makes a huge difference. Last rebuild I did on it, I took off I think a little over 6 ounces, you know, which is a lot, but you know, there's times you got to run aluminum, like for these chassis braces right here, just because the stock ones weren't holding up. Even other things like, you know, if you run full droop, you can remove your droop screws, a lot of different ways. All right, thanks so much. Now have a great day.